Hey everyone, Jason here in the kitchen. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Cinnabon Cinnamon roll. So I have a Cinnabon Clone recipe. It's been a couple years since I've made this, but it is totally delicious. Very, very delicious. Just like the cinnamon rolls you get at Cinnabon. Takes just a little bit of work, but it's totally worth it. Your kids and family are going to think that you're amazing because you've basically made a Cinnabon at home. So, having said that, let's go through the ingredients. By the way, we're going to put this into a bread machine because we're lazy, no, because we're smart. So first, let's put the bread or the dough ingredients together, and let's go from there. So here are the dough ingredients. We have 4.5 cups of high quality bread flour, 1 cup of room temperature milk. This is skim, you can use whatever you'd like. We have 2 eggs at room temperature. We have 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. This happens to be Red Star yeast. You can use bread machine yeast if you'd like. And 1/3 cup of butter, also melted. So let's put this into the bread machine in the order of the manufacturer's recommendation, which is typically wet ingredients, dry, and then yeast. So let's do it. Okay, here's our bread maker. We have it on setting 8, which is dough, meaning it's just going to mix up our ingredients. And we'll just open that up, and we're going to put our wet ingredients in first. So 1 cup of warm milk, 2 eggs, 1/3 cup of melted butter. Next we're going to put our dry ingredients in. This is our 4.5 cups of flour, our 1 teaspoon of salt, and our 1 cup of white sugar. And we're going to put this on top of our wet ingredients. Next, the last ingredient is our 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. We'll put that on top. We're going to shut the door, the lid, and we're going to hit start and let it mix up. Okay, our bread machine is doing its thing. I'm going to show you how to make the cinnamon brown sugar mixture that goes on top of the dough when it's done. So you need 1 cup of brown sugar packed firmly. And you need 2.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. And then we just mix those together and we'll set that aside. So our bread machine did its thing. We have a nice velvety looking piece of dough here. So we're going to turn this out onto a lightly floured surface. We're going to mash it down just for a little bit. Put it back into a ball. We're going to let it rest for about 10 minutes. And then we'll roll it out. So let's we're just going to pull this into itself and make a nice tight ball. Place it on the floured surface. And we're going to cover it up with a little saran wrap. And, we'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, we've let our dough ball rest for about 10 minutes, covered up. We've preheated the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So now we're going to roll this out to about 16 by 21 inches. So I'm going to put more flour down. We don't want it to stick, that's for sure. And we want enough flour for a rolling pin. So we have it somewhat close to a rectangle. I'm going to grab my tape measure. We're looking for 21 by 16, so we're going to roll it out so a little bit more. Needs to be a little bit wider and a little bit longer. Alright, we're fairly close. It doesn't have to be exact. So next, we're going to take a 1/3 cup of butter and we're going to smear it all over this. And then once that's down, we're going to put our cinnamon and brown sugar mixture on top. Here's our 1/3 cup of butter, and we're just going to Put this down and smear it all over the entire dough. Okay, now that we have the butter all spread out, we're going to evenly sprinkle our cinnamon and brown sugar mixture on top. Then we're going to roll it up. It smells amazing, like you can about imagine. Looks like a lot, but we're going to use all of it, that's for sure. Spread it out. Okay, there we have that all spread out. Now we're going to roll this up and cut it into 12 pieces. We're going to put it into a lightly buttered pan and we're going to cover it, let it rise for a little bit. So we're just going to start on the edge here and we're going to roll it up. And voila, there is our cinnamon roll. And we're going to cut that into 12 pieces. So there you go, we have 12 perfectly imperfect little rolls. So we're going to put this in our buttered pan and let it rise. Here's our pan. And we're going to take these and carefully place them inside. This is a 9 by 13 pan, by the way. And there's a little baby one. This up with some saran wrap. Okay, we're going to set that aside, then we're going to mix up our cream cheese topping that goes on. There they are, rising up a bit. Alright, we have our oven preheating and we have our cinnamon rolls rising one last time before we put them in. So we're going to put together our ingredients for our frosting. So we need 1.5 cups of confectioner's sugar, 3 ounces of cream cheese softened, we have 1/4 cup of butter softened, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we're going to mix this up with an electric hand mixer and then it'll be ready. So there's our frosting. Looks delicious and it smells amazing as well. So we'll set that aside and wait for our rolls to be done. Alright, our Cinnabon buns, or our cinnamon rolls have been rising for about a half hour. Oven's preheated to 400. So we're going to put these in for about 15 minutes or until golden brown. Cinnabon rolls, they were in there for 10 minutes. So while they're nice and hot, we're going to go ahead and spread this homemade frosting on top. Okay, if the boys don't like this, then there's something wrong with my cooking. So let's try the Cinnabon clones and let me know what you think.
Can't even taste it. Delicious. Delicious. I can't taste the bite.
It's really good.
Look. Ew. Don't let them see that. It's just messy. That's how messy
Just pick it up and take a bite if you need to.
I can't. So messy.
Really good. I really like it.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Is it sweet?
Mm-hmm.
What do you taste in it?
Hmm?
What do you taste in it?
Sour cream? No.
Sour cream.
There's
Cinnamon.
cream cheese in it.
Really?
Cheese?
Cream cheese. Okay. You guys think it's good, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, thank you, boys.
Like, comment, subscribe.
See ya.